Startups should consider looking abroad very simply because of the fact that since the recession in mid-2008, the world has completely changed. It's now far more joined up. Everyone comes across and says we're looking for that global marketplace, where it truly is a global marketplace, be it for a sale point of view, be it a customer point of view, be it even from procurement or supply chain point of view. You know, the fact that a small business now can get access and look global from the very outset is of huge advantage, massive competitive advantage. The biggest barriers I think that are perceived are actually the ones which they'll most probably encounter. You know, there is sort of perceived issues which might not be as big as they actually are. So I don't know, you look at quality, for example, or I'm not going to be able to get it because I can't pop and see the factory where my product is actually being made. Whereas actually you don't really need to do that now with 3D printing, prototyping, etc., and the quality of service you get from different countries. There's an element of trust. But the perceived barriers that I feel are actual major barriers in relation to a startup will face is language and culture. You know, in this work I've done with the G20, cultural barriers, the way people do things, the speed in which people do things and the process in which people go through a business transaction can be very, very different between United States and, say, China. The best way of finding out a country which is most suitable to their product or where there could be a good customer base, if they don't have a lot of money to do a big feasibility study, market analysis, etc., is to look at social networking sites, bearing in mind that in Latin America, for example, LinkedIn isn't as heavily used as, say, Facebook, and finding out what market trends actually are from people who are on the ground. Speak to people who've already been out there, speak to groups in the UK which have been from that country, expats, etc., and just try and understand what individuals are looking for. If you go down the sort of formalised route, it can get incredibly expensive. If they've got a bit of time and they're able to get a cheap ticket, go out there. Get on the ground, see it, feel it, taste it, smell it, etc. Really get a feeling for the marketplace and the type of people you're going to be working with and selling to, so you can make sure your product fits with what they're after. What I will do is give an example of an area where I feel startups have a huge amount to gain, so the procurement and supply chain process. And I'll give two. One is a bit of nepotism here with my brother, who's just set up his own company, and one is a company that's been going for about 18 months. The first one is the one that's been going for 18 months, a company called The Lazy Camper, set up by a chap called Jacob. And what he does is he pulls together bags with all the equipment you'll need for a festival, a tent, a sleeping bag, a little stove, etc., etc. He sources it all from international markets, pulls it all together and then sells it on to the end user, not only in the UK, but he's also looking at other markets as well, where there are big festivals across Europe, etc. It's really driven down his cost of product or cost of purchase. It increases purchasing power because he can buy in bulk, but also very bespoke amounts that he's after. And he can also pass that cost saving onto the consumer and create value add, and crucially, a differential between him and perceived competitors in that space, where you might sort of go to a traditional high street retailer and buy the points as individuals. The second example is my brother that's just set up a company called Envisaged, and he has created a 3D prototype of the product he's doing. So he's making candlesticks and vases, and he sourced his manufacturer from China. He's got it all prototyped out there through the 3D printing models he sent over. He's got it developed, very high quality, absolutely driven down price. He couldn't get the same sort of price. So we'd find it very tough to get the same price and service in the UK with very quick delivery services as well. So a key thing for a startup is the fact that you can look at creating that differential, that sort of disruptor within the sector you're looking at getting into, which will set you apart from competitors already in that space. My best piece of advice would be look local but think global. And although that sort of sounds a bit of a sort of politician's buzzword type thing, what do I mean by it? Always look at your local marketplace. You know, you can understand quickly if there is call for your product in your local area by speaking to friends, families, local groups, going out surveying informally, etc. Thinking global is the fact it is a truly global marketplace now. There are plenty of networks that I've been involved in, be it the G20 Young Entrepreneurs Alliance, be it the Commonwealth Asia Alliance of Young Entrepreneurs, be it the Commonwealth Youth Programme, be it Confederation of European Entrepreneurs, etc. These are big networks. You can get a taste for working with other companies, engaging with other companies, etc. through those type of networks. You can get a lot of market analysis for free by just engaging and entering into a conversation on an international basis. So think local, look local, but think global.